Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Generation Bible Studies. Hope everybody is doing well on today. This is Rosetta coming to you from Chicago. And today we are continuing our lesson that is found in our Sunday school book. The title of the lesson is Faith for Troubled Times. This is from the book of Habakkuk. That's Habakkuk. 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 Chapters 1 through chapter 3. There's only 3 chapters in the book of Habakkuk, as a matter of fact. Habakkuk is considered one of the minor prophets of the Old Testament. And so when you get a chance, you can read through all 3 of the chapters because there's only 3 for this particular book. But we want to continue on today. We stopped off, I think, of just introducing the study. Okay, and again, the title is Faith for Troubled Times. And so during this time, the prophet Habakkuk is asking God questions regarding the captivity of the people of God during this time. He's asking about Judah's captivity. Okay, and the questions that he's asking. Now, that's what I want to focus on today, and we're going to round this up, end up this lesson. The first question he's asking God is, will you answer injustice? And that's in Habakkuk. Habakkuk, the first chapter, 1 through 11 verses. And so Habakkuk begins to question God regarding the people of Judah. And so his first question, it leads up to him asking, yet it seems as if God was unwilling to deal with the problems that his people were facing and having. And so the first question here is, why does God seems to sometime, why does God sometime seems unmoved by the plight of the righteous when they are abused by the sinful or abused by unjust people? That was one of the questions that Habakkuk had for God. Why is that? And why does it seem, here's the second question, why does it seem as if God tolerates evil? Why does it seem that? Okay, and so God answers. He does answer Habakkuk because as I stated in the first video of introduction, I believe that God will answer your sincere questions. I believe that he will, and so here we might wonder what would amaze Habakkuk about God's plan. Remember, this is the plan that the people of Judah, God chosen people, getting ready to go into captivity. It says here, Habakkuk knew of his nation. He's a part of the Judah nation, unique place in history, and he knew of God's many blessings in the past. Okay, it was inconceivable that God would use a godless nation to judge Judah. Okay, that godless nation was Babylon, the Babylonian people. Okay, it says, so in verses 6 through 11, God describes how the ruthless and or bitter and nasty people, Babylonians, how they will conquer over Judah, God's chosen people. It will be a time of terrible violence and destruction. Perhaps worst of all, the Babylonians were arrogant, setting themselves up in God's place by honoring themselves and living by their own set of laws. Okay, their destruction and terror is seemed in limitless. It seemed limitless, okay? It seemed as though God was just letting his people be trampled on, his people being misused. It seemed like that. But the Lord concluded. He concluded, because remember, he's answering. He's communicating with Habakkuk, answering these various questions that Habakkuk have. And as I stated, when you get a chance, make sure you read the full 3 chapters of the book of Habakkuk, okay? The Lord concluded by describing that Judah's sad future in stark terms. And then he goes on to describe how they were going to captivity and how they will be judged by God. Okay, and so that's the first section 1. Section 2, will God? These are questions. Here's the second question: will God punish the wicked? Okay, this is in Habakkuk 1:2 through 2:20. All right, and asking God how he could use a godless nation to judge his people, Habakkuk affirms the righteous character of God. He knows God is holy. So how could God stay silent while the evil prosper at the expense of those more righteous? Okay, how is he letting these things happen? Remember, the title is Faith for Troubled Times. Okay, and then it goes on to say that in the end here, that Habakkuk remembers that God is righteous and that God is yet faithful. But the judgment of God, if God see fit to place judgment, the judgment of God must be fulfilled. Okay, and so the remainder of this passage, it focuses on the evil Babylonians, and in it we find an important reminder. We must keep the prosperity of evil in perspective. They have no lasting prosperity. In a series of 5 woes, Babylon, who delighted in ridiculing Judah, they will become the object of the ridicule. Each woe conveys that this godless nation would not get away with its sins. And that's just, we live in a day now, it's a lot going on right now, whereas people think they're going to get away. Nobody is getting away with anything, and so we know that Judgment Day is coming. We know that Judgment Day is coming. In life consists of reaping and sowing. Whatever you sow out there, that's what you're gonna reap back. If you constantly sowing evil, you're gonna reap back evil. If you constantly sowing good, you're gonna reap back good. It's the cycle of life. It is the cycle of life. You reap whatever you sow. And that's for everybody. Nobody is exempt from that, whether you are a believer or not. That is the cycle of life. You reap what you sow. So nobody is getting away with anything, And so in the end of the last section, it focuses on God's finding strength in God's faithfulness. Habakkuk responds to God's message with a heartfelt prayer, recognizing God's awesome deeds in the past. Sometimes it's good to go back and remember. Remember when the Lord spared your life. Remember when the Lord told you to go, guided you to go a different way. You had just missed a terrible, maybe car accident or maybe an incident. He remember the awesome deeds Habakkuk remembered the awesome deeds that God did in the past. This reinforced an important point. Wrath is not the essence of God, though it reveals his attitude towards sin. When mercy is rejected, wrath will follow. God is indeed the Almighty and Sovereign Lord over all earthly powers. The thought of the Babylonians invading Judah was more than the prophet could bear. Habakkuk was dealing with this at this time, and it was a lot for him to bear because he still yet had to speak the word of the Lord to the people of Judah. And so yet he committed himself to serve God regardless of the circumstances. While he did not fully understand, he would trust in the Lord. And this is where we are today. We don't understand all the things that are going on and things that are happening. You know, we have civil unrest. Oh, my Lord. We have so much civil unrest. We have so much transparency to see the injustice and the unfairness in our judicial system. We can see so many killings as well. So many people have passed away. We're in the middle of a pandemic. You know, we just a lot going on. But yet in it all, in the midst of it all, I want to encourage you to find faith in God in these troubled times, because you're going to need it. I'm going to need it. I need it every day. So I'm encouraging you, but guess what? I'm encouraging myself also, because as I stated, we have a lot going on. We have a lot going on, but we are going to, especially as believers, okay, in the Lord, as born again believers in the Lord, as those who have given to God their all, who have sacrificed, we are going to find faith in God during these troubled times, okay? So I just want you to be encouraged. We know that the Lord is on our side. He's our strength. He's our help. And he is there to hear our cry and to answer our sincere questions from the heart. So you be encouraged and know that we take one day at a time, okay? One day at a time, one step at a time. And, don't forget to pray for your sister, pray for your brother, pray for your loved ones. We're going to all be praying for one another, okay? So I want you to be encouraged. Listen, that's going to end the lesson. And so, again, this is Rosetta coming to you from Chicago. This is Generation Bible Studies.